Hello everyone, my name is Paulina Bugembe and I am the writer-director of The Homecoming, and I'd like to share my story about my little brother Christopher, who's been in and out of prison probably for the better part of 10 years now. Yeah, how do I even go about talking about this? Well, aside from the the parts that you always hear about, the difficulty in going to visit, the phone calls that get cut off, um, the lack of information regarding if he's just okay. There have been several times where he's gotten into, an altercation with another prisoner and has ended up in the infirmary, and we didn't know about it until much later, or the fact that he already has health issues, asthma, all kinds of health issues that may or may not be taken care of while he's there. Um, you know, uh, Not hearing from him for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then finding out that maybe he'd been sent to, um, solitary confinement, or any of these things that, you kind of hear about. Um, is difficult to deal with as a family. But I think the most difficult thing is how isolating the situation can be for family members. And I won't even get into the obvious, which is how the member of your family who is the loved one who is locked up is isolated in the most literal way from the family. Um, Someone who is still very much alive, still living some semblance of a life, the years still passing, birthdays still happening year after year. But how that person now becomes like an elephant in the room at Thanksgiving or Christmas or even just a Sunday dinner. They're more present in every family gathering than they ever were when they were out. It's isolating because people who don't have a loved one in prison only have what I call the Hollywood idea of what it's like. The one phone call when they get locked up, the long trips to take the visits with the no touching rule that, we see. But what I think sometimes Hollywood and the media, etc., fails to cover, which is what I'm trying to do with The Homecoming, is that isolation that happens within the family as well. Each person deals with this situation differently. My mom has sort of, shut herself off from the world. She doesn't go out too often. She doesn't like to meet anyone new because she knows that this conversation is going to come up. Where's your son? And she's afraid that someone will judge her for it. Is she a bad mother and that's why her son's in jail? Same goes for my dad, who beats himself up for not being around when we were younger, and when my mom and dad first separated, is that where it went wrong? Should my dad have been there? I feel the same way. Had I not gone off and started my own life and gone off to college and whatever and just been around, would I have been able to help? And all of these things add up to all of us being at different levels of acceptance of the situation. So like, I compartmentalize pretty much about it. And so, but yet my mom really feels sensitively about it. So when we talk, I come off as harsh. She comes off as, I see her as oversensitive. She sees me as not sensitive enough. And so it then starts to isolate us from each other when we need each other to get through this. So that's kind of what I think is a whole part of, this mass incarceration problem that we have in this country. I think that there have to be other people that are dealing with this, and that are going through the same thing that I'm going through. And so that's why I'm making this movie. And I'm so blessed to have the team that I have to put this film together, and I can't wait to share it with you. So, thank you for your support. And if there's anyone else out there feeling the same way I do, feel free to share your story. Thank you.